This story is about the Buddhist nun Vishaka, who was born into a wealthy family. They lacked nothing. Vishaka's father's name was Dhananjay Shahad, and his mother's name was Sugna. From the beginning, their parents had great faith in Lord Buddha. They respected him immensely. For Buddha's sake, they did everything possible. Vishaka, too, accompanied them in religious activities since childhood. It is said that when Vishaka was just 7 years old, she attained the knowledge represented by the Shrotapati. The Shrotapati signifies flowing in the stream of knowledge, leaving oneself and immersing into existence. It is to get lost in oneself and go on a journey of profound understanding only when one attains the Shrotapati. It is extremely important in a person's life that the human body is divided into 7 chakras. The third chakra is called the Manipur chakra. Until the first 2 chakras, nature performs its functions of creation, fear, and anger, which are integral aspects of life. Manipur, which Hindus have beautifully named, is truly a gem. It unlocks the destiny within a person. It becomes activated only through the connection with a guru. The one whose destiny has been unlocked may seem crazy in the eyes of society. You might say they have become mad at a very young age. At a very young age, when Vishaka attended the Shrotapati and when she grew up, she was married to Vardhan, the son of Shrivasti, resident of Meenakshi. When Vishaka was about to bid farewell to her mother's house, during the time of departure, Dhananjay, her father, explained 10 things to Vishaka in signs. The first, do not take the memories of your home outside. The second, do not bring anything from outside into the house. The third is, give to those who give. The fourth is, do not give to those who do not give. The fifth, give to those who give, and also to those who do not give. The sixth is, sit comfortably in happiness. The seventh is, eat with contentment. The eighth, sleep without regrets. The ninth, discuss the importance of fire. And the 10th, perform worship of the family deities at home. And from that time onwards, not only did Vishaka heed her father's words, but she also entered her in-laws' house. She carried with her all the teachings and blessings bestowed upon her by her father. Everything she needed was provided for in that house, where the presence of God was evident. However, there was still one thing lacking in that house: an unwavering faith in God, despite living in his abode. This, too, is no less than a miracle. Vishaka, who resided in Kapilavastu, got married in Shrivasti with the hope of having the opportunity to visit the divine abode. Lord Buddha resided in Shrivasti. Out of the 40 years he spent as a wandering ascetic, more than 25 years were spent in Shrivasti. The environment of Vishaka's in-laws' house was neither against Buddha nor in favor of his followers. Both her husband and father-in-law earned their livelihood through worship and rituals, but they had never offered alms to any monk or arranged for their meals. They had never built a temple or a well for them, and no prayers had been made. Despite having all these provisions, they had not yet performed any auspicious deeds or spent a single rupee from their earnings. It was the same till now. One day, Vishaka served her father-in-law a hot meal, and the food was always eaten in utensils made of gold and silver. At that moment, a Buddhist monk came to beg for alms. The thought of the monastic community had been in Vishaka's mind since childhood, and she had a deep respect for their teachings and the Sangha. However, she had become a daughter-in-law in a household where there was no faith in Buddha, his Dharma, or the Sangha. They were not as influenced by them as she expected. When the monk asked for alms, Vishaka felt that her father-in-law had not noticed the monk, so she moved slightly aside to allow a better view of the monk. After some time, the monk requested alms again. The father-in-law overlooks the monk, pretending not to see him, and continues with his meal without any reaction. Giving alms to a monk without the father-in-law's permission would be a disrespect to the household. Vishaka waits for the right time and opportunity, not wanting to miss this chance. She looks towards the monk and says to him, "Look, my father-in-law is having stale food. You should move ahead." She said this in such a loud manner that her father-in-law overhears it and gets angry and starts saying hurtful things to his daughter-in-law Vishaka. Suraj says to Vishaka that you are the daughter-in-law of our house, and in front of everyone tarnishing our reputation, send back the monk who came to our house without any offerings. This goes against our dignity. Suraj becomes very angry at Vishaka and, in anger, goes to the panchayat and accuses Vishaka's parents. In the panchayat, he claims that my daughter-in-law has disrespected me. She insulted me in front of everyone by saying that my father-in-law is having stale food. The council decides to take action, saying, "Decide, and whatever the punishment is, I will accept it." I want a divorce for my son's wife. Her parents are also present here, and after saying this, Suraj starts crying. After seeing Suraj crying, the panchayat asks Vishaka, "Daughter, you are educated, you are cultured, and come from a noble family. Can this be acceptable in a place where a daughter-in-law cannot even serve her father-in-law, let alone respect him? When a girl who is educated and well-read like this act in such a manner, it is not good. What expectations can we have from others? So, tell us, did you really say that your father-in-law is having stale food?" In response, Vishaka, joining her hands, says, "O panchayat, you belong to God's lineage. I will not lie to you. It is true that I said that, but why did I say it? You also understand that in our house everything is present a person would desire: wealth, riches, jewelry, a comfortable home, and all those things that everyone needs. There is no shortage of anything. Everything is filled with wealth and abundance. God has given everything, but in return, our father-in-law has never performed any charity, donation, or contributed to any temple, well, or feast. So, where did all this come from? Is it the result of some past life's earnings that he is using in this life? There must be some explanation for the resources he is utilizing in this lifetime. Otherwise, in this life, he hasn't done anything but still enjoys happiness, wealth, and luxuries. So, you tell me, did I say anything wrong? I simply told that enlightened monk that my father-in-law is eating leftover food. Then you all started indicating that I am at fault." After hearing this, the panchayat starts praising her and asks Suraj whether his daughter-in-law have any rights on his property or not. If she has any rights, he should permit her to spend some wealth according to her beliefs, because his daughter-in-law is not disrespecting him. She was just cautious. Hearing the words of the panchayat, Suraj says that it is not just one thing, but many other things indicate she is not worthy of being our daughter-in-law. The panchayat asked how. That time Suraj says during the farewell from her parents' home, her father, Dhananjay, had incited her against us. I overheard them and was standing there behind the curtain when her father was saying these words. The panchayat asked what was said. Suraj says that her father had said not to take home fire outside. Then the panchayat asks Vishaka, "Is it true that he said that?" Vishaka tells them that it is true, but her father-in-law misunderstood the meaning. "My father meant that if any shortcomings are seen in the in-laws' house, such as their parents-in-law, brothers-in-law, husband, etc., then never say anything negative about them outside the house. If there is a fight or argument in the house, let it happen within the house." That was the meaning of his words. When Suraj hears his daughter-in-law's argument, he becomes surprised and says, "What was the meaning of other words?" In the panchayat, Vishaka says that her father's every word has been misinterpreted by her father-in-law. Now, when it comes to discussing this matter, I will also tell the meaning of other words. My father in his other messages had said that don't bring outside fire in your own house, which means if anyone outside is talking negatively about my in-laws' family members, and if I hear it, then don't say these words in your house, This is a big thing because of which problems arise in the home. His further message was to the person who gives, give back to him, not to him who doesn't give back. It means that if to any neighbor or in any relationship we need to give something or money, then give to that person only who will give back, not to him who cannot give back. In his fifth words he said the person who gives, and to the person who also doesn't give to them also. It means that in our lives, there are some relationships like son, daughter, nephew, niece, beggars, and ascetics, to whom you should never expect anything back. Instead, give without expecting anything in return. In his sixth words he said that in the house, sit in such a place that if someone big comes, you don't have to get up for them. The seventh word is about eating in comfort, meaning that eating should be done only when everyone in the house has finished their meal. That's when it will be a pure meal. The eighth word is about lying down in comfort, meaning lying down only when all the elders in the house have eaten and if someone needs to take medicine and check if they have already taken it. The children have already fallen asleep. The doors of the house are closed, the safe is closed, and there is no crack in the window. After checking all these, lie down in comfort. The ninth word discusses fire, which means staying together in the house with love and harmony. Do not engage in any behavior that might offend someone. Maintain proper etiquette. Finally, he also said that worship the family's elders, which means all the respected elders in the family. Consider them worthy of reverence, pay attention to their needs, and never disrespect them. This is the lesson my father taught me when he bid me farewell. Even today, I have not disrespected my father-in-law in any way. I simply said that everything is fine and certainly the result of some good deeds in a past life. After hearing this, Vishaka's parents were pleased with her intelligence and understanding that their daughter not only respected but also remembered every lesson they taught her. Listening to all this, Suraj and others were amazed, and the entire panchayat was full of praise for Vishaka. On the other hand, Suraj was moved to tears. He stood up and said, Vishaka is my daughter-in-law, later on, and my guru first. He continued, and she has complete authority to spend wealth as she pleases. Everyone returns to their homes, and Suraj says to Vishaka, why don't we invite everyone for a meal tomorrow? She says, this is a noble act. The next day, she invites all the saints for a meal. After the meal, Suraj takes Buddha's teachings and receives initiation. Later, he starts being called Buddha's beloved disciple. During this period, Vishaka constructs a Bihar monastery that is said to have had 20 crore gold coins invested in it. It is said that Vishaka was one of the primary devotees of Buddha, and she witnessed the living Buddha's enlightenment. She obtained immense power from the city and became one of the great enlightened nuns who renounced worldly possessions and luxuries. The 5-story Bihar where monks resided still exists today, and its remains can be seen. Vishaka, a prominent Upasika, female lay follower, was instrumental in making the Buddha's teachings accessible and obtaining the power of knowledge. It is believed that Vishaka was one of the lucky ones who, while living in this world, experienced all the comforts and abundance, yet attained spiritual enlightenment. She was fortunate enough to receive the ultimate knowledge by embracing Buddha's teachings. Vishaka was truly blessed as she embraced the path of enlightenment and achieved the highest state of spiritual realization. We want to express our gratitude for your time spent watching our video. The Buddhist story we shared aimed to provide valuable insights, and we hope it resonated with you. Before we conclude, we kindly request your support. If you found this video meaningful and enjoyable, we would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel and give it a thumbs up. As you continue on your journey, we encourage you to maintain a state of bliss and mindfulness until our next video.